Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
So now we're going to do a review of Funko Games' Rocketeer, Fate of the Future. Hopefully you've had a chance to check out our How to Play and Playthrough. Now this is ages 12 and up, and it's for 2 players, so it's a 1 versus 1 game. And ages 12 and up is about accurate, because there's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts in this game. I think a younger person could handle it if you're an experienced gamer. Now you can tell we are a fan of the movie. We did see it, at least I saw it in the theater.
I don't know if I did.
I think I was still working in the theater at the time. This is 91. I think this is the Terminator.
This is probably before we started dating.
Yes, Terminator 2 summer. Or is it Jurassic Park summer? Well,
I don't know.
in any case, I worked 2 summers in a theater. I worked the Terminator 2 summer and the Jurassic Park summer. One was 91 and one was 93.
Okay.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it was Jurassic Park in 91.
Okay.
Okay. In any case, we love the movie.
Yes.
And so when we saw this game, we were like, I wanted to get it, and then I waited for it to go on sale, because we buy most of our games.
You so do.
And we got a really good deal on it, and we've played it now 3 times. You can see the full playthrough and see the how to play it. Now I'm going to go over some of the rules. I can't go over all of it because it's very detailed.
Yes.
And what the game involves is that each player, one player is the villains, Sinclair, Lothar, and you'll see I have this flipped over because Neville, towards the end of the playthrough, got out his secret army. In other words, the Nazis appeared, which means Eddie disappeared. So Eddie is in play until Valentine's in play, I'm sorry, until Neville does a play like this, where I can just get soldiers and put them on my card, but at some point I'll play this card and do an ambush, just like it happens in the movie. And I'll use my soldiers to control locations. So you see I have soldiers here controlling those locations, because what you want to do is you want to get finale cards throughout the game to get points. So cards are worth so many points, and there's certain conditions that can be met to get points. When does the game end? Well, just like in the movie, the Zeppelin starts out in Europe, goes to Washington, D.C.
Blackhurst?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Blackhurst,
Germany. Then it gets all the way across. So there could be, depending on what events come up, the Zeppelin can move 2 spaces, 1 space, or 0. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 turns, because there's a card here where the Zeppelin doesn't move at all. So when the Zeppelin gets to the end, you compare your finale cards. Julie's are right here. Mine were right here. And whoever has the most points wins. So how do you get these finale cards? Well, you get these finale cards by controlling the location in the event. So for instance, this card says, first off, the blimp moves 1. Hughes visits Chapel Airfield. Each player gains a clout. Clout's like currency. It's your money. You'll get to spend it to do things. The player with the plans gains an additional clout. So in the movie, you're trying to get the rocket. Well, it's kind of hard to be a hero if the rocket gets stolen every time. Okay, so this is about stealing the plans, which is in the movie. It's just that the villains don't necessarily, they're not after the plans, they're after the rocket.
Right.
So they changed it up a little bit. And you put the finale marker in the Chapel Airfield. So it changes from turn to turn. So whoever controls this location is going to get a finale card. Whoever has the blueprints gets a finale card. So the heroes start with the blueprints, and each character will have a card, but you won't know if they have a decoy or the plans. If I take the decoy, that means then my characters will have it. And at the end of the turn, can you help me out here?
You bet.
Whoever has the plans, so if I stole it from Julie, I look at it, I decide, okay, who am I going to give it to, who's going to have the decoy. And then she'd have to steal it back. So at the end of the turn, whoever has the plans gets a finale card. Whoever controls the location, my soldier controls it here, but let's say my soldiers weren't in the game yet, because you usually do that later. Because when you do it, like I said, Eddie will disappear just like in the movie. If I control it, I'll get a finale card. So if I had the plans and the location, I get 2 finale cards. But the way the game worked, when you watch the playthrough, I was not able to get the plans once. but I was controlling the location because it moves around, and I was able to get my guys to control it. So if I have my guy there, either one of my characters, I'll get a finale card. Now, if there's one of each, no one controls it. No one gets the finale card. But if it's 2 versus 1, then Julie would get it. But if one's knocked down, then it would be a tie. If I'm knocked down and one of her characters knocked down, or both of them are up, she gets control. So that's how the game is going to be working out here. You're going to be moving your characters around to tussle. That's what that's called. Basically, to fight each other and to try to get the plans. Because when you tussle somebody and knock them out, you can see if they have the plans. Okay, I tussled Cliff. Let's say Lothar moves here and tussled. I see he has the plans, and now I take it. But if he didn't, he would reveal it, and it's the decoy. He's knocked out, but I didn't steal the plans because he has the decoy. It's very much a card management game. So when you play cards, you are going to either do two things. You're either going to use the card for its actions, so that means move one space and you get a grit. Grit is like your strength that you use in tussles, which are fights. Or you can use the ability part, the right side of the card, this part right here. You spend a clout, if you have any, you get 1 tussle strength, and you get to do this effect. Now notice up here, this tells you who can use the cards. So some cards have multiple symbols on it. Give me one that has all 3.
I'm trying to find one. Here. Oh, no, that's not it. Hang it right there.
Okay.
There you go.
So Peevy, his circle, he's a circle.
Yep.
You can use all 3 of these cards because there's a circle in all 3. But notice, Jenny or Cliff cannot use this one. Jenny and Peevy can use this one, and all 3 characters can use this one. So part of the game is you have to manage your cards, and you'll see that Peevy has a circle, Jenny has a square, and Cliff has a hexagon. I have the same symbols. You play as many cards that you want for that character, and when you're done, they flip over. Whoever has the plans goes first for that round. Let's say Peevy went, and then Lothar went, and then Cliff goes, and then Valentine goes, and then Jenny goes, and then Neville goes, and that's the end of the round. And then you see where people are at. If you control the location, we're tied here, so nobody gets this middle part in here. You can get bonus stuff at the end. So I'd get soldiers if I controlled it. Julie would get clout. Peevy's here, so he's going to get 3 clout for controlling that. I control this because Cliff is knocked out, so I get to peek. So I see if Jenny has it. She doesn't. So now I know Peevy has it by process of elimination. Now let's say Cliff controlled it and Lothar was knocked out, or he just wasn't even there. He gets to rehide his cards because I already know what 2 of them are, let's say, and he rehides them.
I rehide them.
Yeah, you rehide them. Now when you move to location, you get clout or grit, or you can get a +1 card. This right here, if you control this location, gives you, at the end of every round, you draw up to 7 cards, or if you control this, you get 8 cards. And let's see if there's anything else.
That's pretty much it. You went over it really fast.
Well, let me explain how tussling works. So let's say Lothar wants to tussle Cliff. I have 2 grit, okay, and I have to play a card that matches him. So I'm going to do this card here. I'm not going to do the ability. I move 1 space if I want to. If I'm already there, I don't have to. And then I do the 1 strength tussle. So say I wasn't there, I move into here, I get a clout for moving there, okay? And so I have 1 clout. I'm sorry, not 1 clout, 1 tussle strength. I want to make sure I defeat him because he already has. So right now it's 1 versus 1. It would be a tie. So I'm going to spend 2 more grit, so it's 3 versus 1. So I would defeat him, but there's one thing on the cards that if Julie had enough cards left with the shield, she can discard them to resist it. So let's say she doesn't want to discard it. I defeat Cliff. I lose my grit, and Cliff loses his grit. He's knocked out, and then the plans revealed, and I see he has it. Now I would have the plans. But let's say she did have 2 shields. because she knows she has a plan and she doesn't want to give it up. She plays 2 shield cards and her grit, 3 versus 3. It's a tie, and I don't knock him out, and I don't get the plans, and so it's not revealed. So very much a card management game, a lot of strategy and what order you play cards, what character you move, where you move, getting finale cards. And again, some of these finale cards, at the very last round, you want to move, you want to get control of certain locations, so it's worth 2 points. But if I control the South Seas Club, I'll get another 2 points. That'd be 4 points. So very, very strategic.
Yes.
All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Okay, guys. Remember, we do our plus, minuses, and neutrals, and then we will share what we scored it on the BGG scale. So I'll go first, as always.
Okay, so here we go.
Here we go. You can really feel the tension when you're trying to find the plans, you know, whether you're hiding them or you're looking for them. You can really feel like, oh my gosh, I know who has it. Please don't let them fight. You know, so that's really fun. I think the art is very nice. The components are okay. I kind of wish like these were, I don't know, maybe decorated or something. I mean, you get who they are, but I don't know, they just don't seem very flashy.
You want them pre-painted?
Well, I don't know.
Most games can't do that because it'd be very expensive.
Okay, well, I wanted them flashy.
I mean, the cardboard is decent thickness. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not spectacular. It's just
the cards
it's
are
fine.
easy to shuffle. They're average, you know.
Okay, what do I say next?
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, the point is, you're saying okay. That's average.
Yeah. It is somewhat challenging to learn. David, bless his heart, did read the rules. He had to learn it. He had to teach it to me, and it's taken me three games to finally be real confident in knowing what I'm doing. And even then, I'm still kind of like, and he still has to help me. And my negative, and this is just for me, this makes my brain hurt. I had to think so hard. It took really long time to play, and I'm pooped. And
well, from the playthrough,
and how to play, and I mean, I enjoyed myself, but it's just a very long game, and it really does take a lot of mental strength to be able to figure out which cards to play, who you're playing, what you're going to do. You have to plan ahead. And for someone with a cognitive disability like myself, it sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, but it's a good workout.
It's a very good workout for my brain, but I'm exhausted now. I'm ready to go put jammies on.
Well, here's a thing. You've done very well. You won the first two times we played.
I did.
Okay,
but he also did help me. Don't let him think that I did it all on my own. He did help me.
And the third time, I barely won.
Yeah, I won by one.
And that's part of the review here. So here's my
What did you
neutrals,
say, sir?
Positive and negatives.
Okay.
So I have a lot to say.
Oh my goodness, you do.
So it's a thematically solid asymmetrical. That means each side has different abilities. What's different about Neville can bring soldiers out. And one thing I didn't mention is that Cliff, he can improve his jetpack skills.
Right.
And if there's cards that will improve it, this means he can move really far. So if he has a 4, he can move 4 spaces. Even though the card might say 1, he can move 4. And then there's cards where if he gets into a tussle, he actually has a 4 strength, a 4 tussle strength. So this is something that you can build up. So that's what her side has. The hero side has the jetpack skills, and my side is I bring out the soldiers. So it's a tug of war. It's direct conflict. So if you don't like a game where you're constantly attacking each other, this is not a game for you. I mean, you can play 1-versus-1 games that are abstract, where you can mess each other up. But this game is about, the whole game is...
It's really vicious.
Yeah, going after each other. And it is a movie adaptation, as you can tell. Now, it is based on the movie. Now, the graphic novel did come out first. And unfortunately, he passed. He passed too young. He didn't get to do more. It's too bad.
Sorry.
I would like to have seen what else he would have done. So neutral, the game design decisions, alter movie plot focus. So what does that mean?
I don't know.
As I mentioned, you're trying to get the plans, not the rocket. The whole movie's about finding the rocket.
That's true.
Now, Peevy does get the plans, okay? I think maybe at some point they recognize he has the plans or something like that, and then he burns them. I'm pretty sure he burns them. He gets rid of them. But it's about the rocket, the whole movie. So they had to change that. Because I think I mentioned this already. It's not a very fun game if the hero with the rocket loses it and he loses his powers. So it makes sense if they change to the plans. Another plot focus is the third act is just comparing cards. You're comparing values of cards. In the movie, it's a big battle between the soldiers,
Yep.
the Rocketeer, and Jenny and Neville, and Lothar is even there, and Valentine joins the FBI. So they pretty much removed that third act. Instead, you have cards. So I understand why they did it. That's why it's a neutral, because it does alter the plot focus.
Yeah.
Okay, decent art, but no likeness rights. So what that means is that they kind of make them look.
Yeah.
Who's that actor again?
He was a James Bond.
He was
guy.
James Bond. He was also in Flash Gordon. He was also in Hot Fuzz.
I don't remember his name.
I'm trying to
I'm
remember.
sorry.
Doesn't look like him, but Lothar. That does look like him. But that's because he's wearing prosthetics.
Oh.
That's not the actual actor's face.
Oh, okay.
So, for some reason, they didn't have the likeness rights. I don't know why. So when you see cards like this, notice it doesn't show the whole face.
Yeah.
Or if it does show Jenny, where's Jenny's card?
Here's here's her picture.
See, like right here, that's when she's wearing her costume.
Right.
Okay, it is what it is.
Yep.
And the miniatures are decent. They're not the worst. They're not blobs.
No,
There's some detail here.
there is. I just thought they'd be more flashy.
Well, there's miniatures that are more higher quality. This is decent.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not the worst, but it's not
No.
the best. Average components, what I just mentioned. Heroes may have an advantage. So it took me the third time to figure out how to win with the villains.
Yep.
It's really tough for the villains, with especially if you get bad draws. So
Yeah.
when we were playing, we played this earlier today. That's part of the reason why you're tired.
Yeah.
Because we played it twice. Because this is a game that you had, because we didn't play it for like over 3 weeks. I said, we better play it again. And because there's so many details, so many moving parts. I was getting bad draws.
Oh, he was.
It
was so
I
sad.
had no finale cards.
I felt so bad for him.
And then I figured out, you know what, I got to be so aggressive with the villains. So it takes a few plays with the villains. The heroes have it pretty easy to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
You start out with the blueprints. You just hold on to them.
Just hold on to him.
And if you can get the location, and then you get a bunch of cards where if you just have Ginny and Cliff together, you'll get a finale card. It seems a lot easier for you to get a finale card. So one advantage of that is if you're a more experienced player, play the villains.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you would have a harder
There's
time
no
with
way I
it.
could
And
do
if
it.
you're playing with a less experienced player, let them be the heroes. So maybe if we play it more times, I'll see that the villains might be more evened out. But I got some good draws.
You did.
Early on, I was able to get cards for me to get finale cards just by
Yeah, it was great.
doing certain things.
Yep.
So it's challenging to learn and play for less experienced, and there was a playthrough that would be needed in the rule book. So as part of my dissertation, there's little details hidden in here, okay? And when you're reading it, you're like going, okay, I think I get it. And there should have been a full round playthrough in here. So when you play it the first time, you're like going, what are you doing again? It's just the context is, for instance, it buries who the first player's start turn is. So when I do this in a rule book, it's right here, okay? Take character turns. This should not be here, because this is explaining how you play the game, not setup. It needed to be here, who goes first in game setup,
Yeah.
okay? Or right away in the how to play.
Right.
Because then you're thinking contextually. Well, the point is, I don't need to go into that much detail about it. But what experienced gamer like me, who's grown up playing games like Advanced Squad Leader, okay, you can get through this. This requires more effort than it should. A full round playthrough would have been like, okay, I get it. All right, cool, let's play. But without that full round playthrough, you're going through and going, okay, well, how are the soldiers? What's the and the timing of that and things like that. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, less experienced players may give up, and that's why they might be watching the how to play video.
Let's see how we go.
Because you're going to have people, you're going to be like, oh, cool, Rocketeer, I love
Yeah.
that movie. Let's get it. And
Yeah.
just like they did with the Warriors game, check out our how to play and play through, and there's a reason why I did a cheat sheet for the Warriors game. You don't need a cheat sheet for this, okay? But the Warriors game, people are going to buy it who are not necessarily gamers. They might have grown up playing Uno, Monopoly, and they're going to play Wars. Like, what the heck's going on?
True.
There's a reason why we have a lot of views on that video. People who get this movie who are not gamers are going to struggle too.
Yeah.
For the same reason. All right, so let's see how we rated it.
It was a 6.
Yes, we'll play in the mood.
Yeah.
Just because of, for me, because there's so much conflict and it's so specific of a movie. I mean, what you're doing is so specific.
Mm.
The strategies are going to be kind of the same.
Yeah.
The villains, I'm going to have to be aggressive, control the location at least, and try to tussle you as often as possible.
Mm.
I now know that, so it's not like, because I know what the strategy is,
Yeah.
it's less likely for me to want to play it.
Sure.
Because I kind of know what I have to do.
Sure.
It's kind of pre-scripted.
Yeah.
And because there is so much conflict, I know that, do I really want to play a game where I want to be attacking Julia the whole game?
Because I don't like those kind of games.
Yeah.
And if you watch the playthrough, you'll see I kind of run away a lot from trying to get into any fights. It's just not me. I'm not big on those kind of beating up each other games. It's not, and I chose it because, first of all, it takes a really long time to play, and it does wear me out. It does make my brain hurt, and there's just so much going on, and sometimes it's just hard to wrap your head around everything you're supposed to do and keep yourself out of trouble. And, if you have these special things on your finale cards, you're trying to remember what I'm supposed to do
at the
for
very
that.
end, at the last turn, you got to look at like, okay, I know I got to move, I got to control this location, I got to get this if I'm going to get more points.
So it's just a lot.
It's definitely a brain burner.
Yeah.
And for me, another reason why it would be 6 is because I know if I play somebody new, I'm going to dominate.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to do well the first game. And if I play Julie, I know I'm going to be putting you through a lot.
A lot, and he doesn't like to do that because he knows that the rest of the evening I'm a slug and it's boring for him.
So look, we're happy to own it.
Oh yeah.
If you're a fan of the movie, you should get it. If you're a gamer and a fan of the movie, this is a must buy.
Yeah, definitely.
But then you got to consider
who you're
going
going
to
to
play. If you're going to play somebody that's not, this is a very thinky game. If they can't be competitive enough, you're going to feel bad kicking their butt. Okay, it's going to be that situation. And I didn't mind you beating me with the heroes.
I felt bad though. I felt so bad.
And then I think we will play this again sooner than later down the road. And I'll look forward to playing the villains again now that I know how to play them better. But it took 3 games, and I had to get lucky draws to do it.
Yeah.
So that is the Rocketeer.
Yep.
So we're happy to have it in our collection.
Hope you guys like the movie. I hope you will like the game if you get it and enjoy yourselves playing, and just know it's going to take a while to play and might take a few times to really get the hang of it all, but it's worth it. It's fun.
Well, 45 minutes is not long for some, but for you it is.
Yes.
All right. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like.
We really appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.